Hi, this is Corbin, and welcome to CIRCA 2020. So I guess for my first video I might have went a little bit overboard with what we got out, but I kind of want to give everybody a background on why we're here, why I'm here, how I want to help you, and just go over a few things on the table. The reason for the name CIRCA 2020 is around 2020. There's a few. I actually wanted to start a business like this with using the name, but given the fact that I'm a father of two awesome boys and have a wonderful significant other and a very busy career, I don't think there's any way I'll be able to run a second business. So a YouTube channel is kind of where I'm going to vent that outlet of wanting to help people and wanting to express my feelings with this. So what this is around 2019 into 2020, obviously everything in the world started to, I don't even have to say it, everybody knows. And I'll never get too political, that's not what this is about. But it is about people like me, people who don't have a giant budget, can't go out and go full operator on everything, but want to be able to protect their family and be prepared for the event of anything happening. So CIRCA 2020 is kind of like a movement for myself, for you, for anybody out there watching who wants to be more prepared, wants to start out in it. And I want to give you a little 3-minute precursor. So I've been around firearms my whole life, mostly hunting rifles, pistols. I've been shooting at the range with my pap since I was wearing Rugrats t-shirts. So a long time. I don't remember when it started, but it's been a long time, and I've had my own guns for, I started with a Cricket 22 when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and ever since then I've just added, and I don't get rid of many, just like to add them. But what you see on the table, this has really started recently for me when I realized that the hunting rifles and the turkey shotguns and that kind of stuff may not do it someday. It may not be what we need someday. And when you have kids, I have 2 boys, 5-year-old and 2-year-old, that changes your outlook and your perspective on everything pretty quickly. You realize that as the man of the house, as a father to 2 precious kids that can't defend themselves, that you have to be able to flip that switch on if you have to and protect them. You have to make sure that the family's taken care of, that they're out of harm's way, that you can provide for them. If someday that means you're not going to work anymore, but you're doing something else to provide, you got to provide. So I found myself in a bit of a panic that I wasn't quite as prepared, and I feel like once you get started with this, you never feel like you're fully prepared, which is kind of the beauty of it, and that's kind of the fun part. But I'm definitely a little bit better than I was even a year ago. So for me, I didn't do this with thousands of dollars. I mean, maybe if you look at everything, it might be thousands, but it didn't feel like it. I want to show you how to save money and make your dollar go the farthest while still getting the gear, the equipment, and the knowledge that you need in order to get where you need to go, so to speak. I want to start by saying, if you don't have a firearm and you're looking to purchase a firearm to simply, I hear this all the time, defend your house. Countless people that I work with an industry that isn't filled with 2A guys. It's probably a 50-50 mix between guys who are really pro Second Amendment and guys who just don't care. They don't have any problem with guns, but it's not what they do. They may own a firearm, they may have shot firearms, they may hunt, but they're not in it like I am, and hopefully like you are. But I'm now seeing those guys over the past month, 2 months, couple weeks, every day, get more and more apt to getting to this level, or even just buying a simple shotgun or a pistol to protect their home. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I feel like the first step for a lot of people who don't own a firearm is to run out and grab a pistol, subcompact 9mm, 380, maybe a 40. They'll go out and they'll buy a 3.5-inch, 4-inch barrel gun. Don't know how to use it. And if you shot a pistol before, I've shot a lot of pistols in my life. And even having been shooting pistols since I was a kid with my grandfather, going to the range multiple times in the summer, spending hours there shooting hundreds of rounds of 22, hundreds of rounds of 9mm, shooting 357 and 41 mag, and just playing with everything he had, and he has a lot. I still don't consider myself to be any kind of a speed shooter. I'm not going to knock down 6 plates in 2.5 seconds. It takes a lot of practice to be good with a handgun, especially when you count that your life is going to depend on it. That you expect somebody who's coming into your house or threatening your family or coming up your stairs or charging at you, that you're going to be able to operate quickly and be able to put a proficient shot on target. A kill shot is what's needed in those situations. And even for myself, I don't feel super comfortable with that in my own home. I'd like to think it would happen, but I'm a realist. I'm very logical, and you'll see throughout this series and throughout this channel, this being the first video, you have nothing to go by, and I hope you stick around to catch more, because we're going to have fun together. But I'm comfortable with a lot of things, but taking a shot in my own home with a compact 9mm isn't something I want to do. So my first piece of advice for anybody is, if you're just looking, because the title of this video is going to be, trying to entice people to get where we need to be as a free society, as a 2A society, to be able to protect ourselves, our family, our homes, our belongings, our property, and our neighbor, I recommend getting the shotgun. Don't go out and buy that subcompact Taurus. There's nothing wrong with those guns. But if you're not going to go out to the range and dump 500 rounds down range and get very proficient, if you're not going to go out and stay sharp with that gun, not only starting out by being proficient, but getting down the road further, every month and a half, getting out to the range and putting a couple hundred rounds through the gun, it's not something that I would really recommend for somebody. I own pistols, and I've shot pistols, and I've carried a pistol, and for a long time I thought a pistol was what I needed in my house, and that's not the case. So I do want to show you this real quick, and I'm not going to go in depth with anything on the table. We're going to touch everything real quick, and then through later episodes we're going to explain a little bit better what everything is, what's in it, how it got there. And before I get started on the shotgun, one second, I know everybody's probably ready for the shotgun because it is a cool looking guy, but I do want to touch on something. Everything in here is budget. I did not buy top of the line or maybe even medium grade on a lot of this stuff. I like to see my dollars go farther. So I'm going to help you out with links to a lot of the stuff when we get into the item specific videos and kind of theme specific videos. I'm going to provide links and show you where I bought this, because you'll be surprised at how little some of this costs in the grand scheme of things. And there is some, you get what you pay for, and hopefully I can help you kind of navigate through the murky waters of budget tactical stuff, for lack of a better term. Because there's junk, and I've bought some junk, but I bought some other things that I expected to be junk, and it surpassed my expectations by miles. So, real quick, we're going to start with this shotgun. If you're looking to protect your home, your family, your property, your neighbor at your house, and you're not looking to carry it on you every day, you're not the guy who wants to carry that gun on you every day. You just want to, when you go home at night and shut your eyes, you know you're going to wake up the next day. What I want to show you here is the shotgun that I trust. Now, when it comes to shotguns, as long as you're going 20 gauge or higher, in my opinion, you're not doing yourself a disservice with any shotgun on the market, as long as it's got more than one shot capacity. Single shot shotgun, it's pretty easy to figure out why that's not the best. It'll work in a pinch, especially if you're proficient at it. But getting yourself a nice semi-auto pump with a little bit higher capacity is going to be what you want to do. Right here we got a Remington 870, the old standby Remington 870 action. This is a TAC 14 DM, so we got a 14-inch barrel, detachable magazine fed. I believe this is 5+1 or 6+1. It's a love or hate thing for guys with the detachable magazine. I tend to love it. So I'll bring it in a little bit closer here so you can see. So the way we kit this out for the house, We do have a light. It is a push button. I do not like running pressure switches. This is an extremely bright light mounted on a Picatinny rail that's mounted to the factory Magpul MOE pump handle. It's a M-LOK style pump handle, so you can put a lot of accessories on this. I run a Magpul slant style foregrip. I do like that style of foregrip quite a bit compared to like a vertical on this gun is actually not necessarily legal. And I'll touch on this briefly, but I don't want to touch on it too much. I did put a sight rail on it that I had to kind of custom mill to make work, because with the DM, the magazine takes up 2 of the pins from the factory upper receiver, so you do have to get a little janky with what you're doing with the sight rail. We are going to touch a lot on this show about budget sights, because there are good budget sights, there are bad budget sights, and there's stuff that's in the middle. This is an in-the-middle sight, but for a shotgun it's not super important. The sight did come with Picatinny rails on it. I did attach a red laser to it and bore sighted the laser. Also went with an AIM Sports AR-15 style grip on the 870 here with a MSDM pistol brace, fixed position pistol brace, and then I made my own single point sling mount out of an old AR-15 part. Again, you know, something like this here, I think I picked up this gun for about $300 in stock form. In stock form it comes with just a regular slanted bird's head style grip. This is a firearm, it's not a shotgun. So what you're allowed to do with this is put a pistol brace on it. That's why you're not necessarily supposed to shoulder it, but you know, new laws, and I'm not going to get into laws too much with you because I'm not a lawyer, but I know how I use the gun, and I'm sure you can figure that out as well. You know, all in all, that gun, the way it sits there, might be $450 in, and between the light, the laser, the sight, if I have to use it, the sight rail also allows me to use the bead, and the laser is dead nuts on the bead at about between 10 and 20 feet. The laser and the bead pretty much co-witness pretty well. So I am 100% comfortable with this gun in my house. If I have to use it for any reason, it's going to be pretty quick to get the job done. And just, you know, the intentional racking of a pump shotgun is enough to deter a lot of what could happen. But, you know, we're not going to focus on that too much. The next gun is a touch and go for a lot of people. I feel like everybody should have one, but that's my opinion only. AR-15. I feel like once you get the house locked down, going forward, we don't know what could happen. We don't know what kind of forces we may be met with. If things would tend to go south, so to speak, you're going to probably need to be aggressive and defensive. I think both of those things come into play. So obviously you have your defensive, and could be aggressive, but your defensive piece here. But if you do have to go on the aggressive, or you have to be defensive from a long distance, I feel like the AR-15 is a great way to go. And I'm not going to touch too much on this. But in case for some reason this gun would fail, couldn't get to it for whatever reason, I do have this Ruger AR-556 kitted out to rock and roll here. We got another tack flashlight. I do have a pressure switch green laser, and you know, some doodads on here that are pretty cool. And again, a lot of this stuff, AIM Sports handguard, I think I might have $25 in the light. It's an $8 foregrip, a $20 bipod, you know, a $4 bad lever. You know, there's a lot of things in here that are just easy and cheap. You know, this gun, there's probably not even $1,000 in this gun, and some people think it's a $2,000 gun. So I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. We'll be right back. I'll go over some of the other stuff on the table and why it's a good idea to get started with that. All right. Alright, so real quick, because I can see my camera battery was fully charged and now it's draining out, which is sweet. So a couple things we'll touch on here in the future. Go bag. This bag's loaded with everything that me and my family need for a few days to survive, pretty much regardless of what happens. We can survive out of this bag for about 3-4 days at least. Maybe longer, but it would be a little uncomfortable. That goes with me everywhere. First aid kit, we'll go into that, but it's loaded. And I feel like everybody needs to have one of those these days. A good rifle bag. Anywhere you go with your rifle, you don't want it knocking around in your trunk. You want to make sure it's secure. I chose Savior. This bag's a $60 bag on Amazon. Best $60 I've ever spent. Honest. On me. Range bag. If you're going to go to the range, you don't want your stuff rattling around, you can come inside with this. But in here you got your ear protection, your eye protection, your tools, laser bore sighter, little stuff like that you don't want banging around with your guns. An extra bag is nice. And obviously I do have a tactical bulletproof vest there with plates, level 4 plates, soft armor behind it, or soft armor in front of it, I'm sorry. I do rock a set of Tippmann 98 paintball gloves. Definitely you're not going to get any abrasions on your hand, but you still have your finger movement. And we'll go into how I kit all that out, but I can guarantee you I didn't spend a lot of money on anything. I got, not a whole lot of money in that vest. This is a $50 bag loaded up with a couple $100 worth of stuff, but you can live out of it. And this bag I got free from the NRA, so a lot of it is just, we're going to go over a lot of things. Budget sights, budget parts, budget kits, budget prepping, and some knowledge here and there that I've learned along the way that's helped me out a ton moving forward. So we hope to see you next time. Things are going to get a lot more exciting. Right now is just kind of a first video. I want you to get to know me, my intentions, and where the channel is going to head. And I really hope you tune in and come along with us, because we're going to have a lot of fun together, and you're going to get to see some new stuff that I pick up very soon. And hopefully I can steer you in the right direction. So this is Corbin from CIRCA 2020. We'll see you next time.